The cross-examination of Brianna Bongolan proved to be a major challenge for the prosecution. According to trial attorney Misty Maris, it exposed serious issues with the witness's credibility. "I'm honestly surprised the prosecution even put her on the stand," Maris commented. Her testimony centered on what's been described as the balcony incident, where she claimed Sean Diddy Combs held her over a 17-story drop, but the defense dismantled her timeline with hard evidence. Court records presented by the defense contradicted the date Bongolan gave for the alleged incident, casting doubt on her entire account. That raised a red flag for the jury, Maris explained. Still, prosecutors hoped her testimony would help demonstrate a pattern of alleged coercion and intimidation, not just towards her, but as something Cassie Ventura also witnessed. But Maris noted the effect may have backfired. It could cause the jury to question other witnesses too. In that sense, it played in the defense's favor. Meanwhile, courtroom dynamics intensified when Judge Aaron Subramanian issued a stern warning to Combs after he was seen nodding toward the jury. Legal analysts say this moment could become relevant if the case reaches an appeal. CNN's Laura Coates explained that judges sometimes react strongly when they sense a defendant is trying to sway the jury, even through subtle behavior like eye contact or body language. In a high-profile case like this, the judge understands the stakes, Coates said, and the defense team knows any courtroom restriction could potentially become grounds for appeal. What stood out to Coates was the judge's directness. To threaten to remove a defendant from his own federal trial, that's rare, but it sent a clear message. The court won't tolerate distractions. Trial attorney Misty Maris added, "A defendant has the right to be present, so the judge would only consider removal if there's a serious reason, like interference with the jury." Legal expert Mark O'Mara agreed. It was a warning, not yet a disqualifying action. But if it escalates, it could reflect poorly on Combs. Then came the most disturbing part of the proceedings, the testimony of a witness using the name Jane. Jane described a pattern of troubling behavior over a 2-year span. She spoke about what she referred to as hotel nights, where she said she felt pressured to participate in intimate encounters that were orchestrated and observed by Combs. She described dimly lit hotel rooms filled with red lights and music. A carefully controlled environment where, she testified, she felt more like a participant in a performance than a partner in a relationship. According to Jane, these events sometimes lasted over 24 hours and occurred in cities across the U.S. and abroad. She said that dozens of bottles of baby oil were used each time, something she attributed to Combs' preferences. Jane said Combs paid her rent, helped with relocation expenses, and gave her large sums of money, at times as much as $20,000. But she also claimed this financial support became a form of pressure. He made it clear that if we weren't together, he wouldn't cover the rent, she testified. "I wasn't trying to end the relationship. I just didn't want to keep doing things I wasn't comfortable with." Jane said she repeatedly told Combs, both in person and in writing, that she didn't want to continue certain activities. But she claimed he often dismissed her concerns, sometimes calling her crazy and then returning to the same pattern. In one powerful moment, she broke down in tears as she recalled the first night she and Combs brought another man into their private time. She said what started as a fantasy quickly became a reality, and that it set the tone for everything that followed. He was excited. "I didn't think it would actually happen that night. I was caught off guard," Jane said. She testified that Combs had his team prepare a hotel suite, and within hours, another man and someone Combs introduced as Don was there. She said she was nervous and under the influence of drugs provided earlier by Combs. Despite feeling overwhelmed, she went along with it. Later, she and Combs spent time together on a yacht with friends. But Jane said that night marked the start of a dynamic she would come to regret. As the relationship progressed, Jane said she became increasingly isolated from her previous life. Her income from social media dropped. Her priorities shifted entirely to Combs, and she said she made herself constantly available, from childcare planning to keeping up appearances, including specific beauty preferences Combs reportedly demanded. Jane said the pressure to maintain the relationship, combined with financial dependency and emotional investment, made her feel trapped. "I was always hoping we'd just be together. Just the two of us. But it never went back to that," she told the court. She also described being introduced to MDMA during early visits to Miami and claimed Combs decided how much she would take. Jane testified that the drug use combined with the emotional bond she was building made her more vulnerable. "I was deep in it," she said. I thought we were falling in love. Jane's testimony painted a picture of a relationship that began with excitement and luxury, but eventually turned into something far more complicated and painful.